Hmm. Okay, we're in, and we should have all of the reverberation issues addressed. I did a temporary mount with the camera, and so it's a little off. Let's see what we got. Okay, Deborah, welcome. Welcome to the room. And we have a new email that we're sending. We have an email that we're sending our questions to. It is stemwithkieno@gmail.com. So again, you can use your smartphone and you can send questions. Do you hear any loud reverberations of my voice? Good, because we've been having problems with that, but we got a new system, and so we should not have an issue with that in the future. Good, 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 good. I'm smiling. Because that reverberation, that repeat sound was driving me up a wall. And so we shouldn't be having any problems with it in the future, and I am excited about that. If you're new, coming in the room, please enter your location and the test you are preparing for. And send questions to stemwithkieno.com. San Diego in the house. Texas in the house. It's okay. ATL in the house. Let's get those questions up. We have less than an hour. Or you could type them in. Or you could ask me to discuss a certain topic. Okay. Got you, Deborah. Okay. So, basically, with your vocabulary, you pretty much, you are where you are. You can pick up periodicals like Reader's Digest. Have you ever heard of Reader's Digest? If not, the Reader's Digest, you can find it in any Walmart, CVS, math word problems. Okay. All right. But yeah, it's just for anybody that comes across this video and you are having, word problem issues. Word problems, word problems with your vocabulary and analogies and things of that nature. The AFOQT does verbal analogies. You pretty much are where you are. I'm going to put in a math word problem here. And let's see. So we'll all do one together. And I will bounce it between Mr. E and Osvaldo. And we'll, come up with a couple topics. So I'll do two for Deborah. Give me a moment. And just so you guys know, stemwithkieno.com is me. Pretty sure you guys figured that out already, but so that is our first word problem we'll deal with. Now, the way we solve word problems is line by line. I know I'm looking over there. I have a screen there. I got like a teleprompter and everything now. It's crazy. But the teleprompter, I don't have anything on it. I glance at it, but there's notes and stuff. And I have an additional backup screen, so I kind of went all out to solve this reverberation problem that I was having. And according to Deborah, I sound good. So I hope I sound good to you guys as well, Mr. E and Osvaldo. And if you could, guys, take your time out to give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Doesn't matter. Either one. Thumbs up or thumbs down. And just to go into this, we solve word problems, if I could pronounce my words. We solve word problems line by line. Okay. So you read the first, you read the first sentence, and you make a diagram. That's basically, and what I recommend is you have lots and lots of scrap paper. All testing, the ASVAB, SIFT, ASTBE, OAR, or AFOQT. Have lots and lots of scrap paper, so you can make sure you can check and you can double check in this room. I'm going to give us about 2 minutes. It should take you about 2 minutes. And I'll look at this question, Mr. E, but every question from now on goes to stemwithkieno@gmail.com. I just saw that. stemwithkieno@gmail.com. Copy inbox. Return that. Kick that back. Okay, I'll give you guys another minute. I have some emails to send anyway. Yeah, that may happen, but long as card. Oh. Okay. Okay, I'm going to send this last couple emails and then I will jump in. If anybody has an answer yet, just say yes or no in the chat. Okay, Viper. Looks like you're new to the room, Viper. Welcome. Welcome aboard. And just let me know your location and what test you're preparing for. You guys got answers. Okay. And that's good. But let's see if they're the right one. Aircraft carrier made a trip to Guam and back. The trip there took 3 hours. You got 42. Might be wrong. Yeah, you're wrong. I'm not like jumping on you guys, but it's not right. So it's okay. Viper, what's your answer? And just keep in mind, no matter what, I have distance, rate, and time problems. So this stuff is not going to go away. Okay, less than 24. Okay, so this is where I jump in. When we look at this, we solved this line by line. I'm going to put it back up on the board because the board's rolling. And so. Okay, an aircraft carrier made a trip to Guam and back. The trip there took 3 hours and the trip back took 4 hours. It averaged 6 kilometers per hour on the return trip. Find the average speed of the trip there. So, first line. An aircraft carrier made a trip to 4.5 kilometers per hour. Nope, not it either. All right. And gonna see if I can't. Okay. Okay, so all right. So we have point A and point B, which is Guam. And we know that we went there and we know that we came back. All right. The trip there took 3 hours. So we have 3 hours. And it took 4 hours back. So 3 hours there, 4 hours back. And notice I'm looking at every line and I am diagramming as I go along. And I can see the lag, but just stay with me, guys. Eventually I will work that out as well. But the thing is I mean, it could be an internet connectivity issue or something like that. I don't know. But the reverberation is gone. That's what's important. So 3 hours there, 4 hours back. It averaged 6 kilometers per hour on the return trip. So we write 6 kilometers per hour on the. All right. So find the average speed of the trip there. All right. So the first thing we have to look at is we're operating under the auspices of distance equals rate times time. Okay. So it would probably benefit us if we looked for distance. Now, we can't find distance unless we have a rate and a time. So which leg of the trip has both rate and time? It would be the return trip. So the return trip says we traveled at an average speed of 6 kilometers per hour. 4 hours is what this trip took. So what we have here is we have a rate and we have a time. So distance is not a problem solving. Distance equals rate times time. 4 hours plus 6 kilometers per hour, which would mean that we traveled 24 kilometers. That's our distance. So it really doesn't matter, you know, the time. Now we have our distance. We know that we traveled 24 kilometers per hour. And so now we have our distance and we have a time. And distance equals rate times time. I have that there anyway. But now what we want to know is the rate of speed there. So the rate of speed will be defined. We have our distance, 24 kilometers. The rate is the unknown. The time is 3 hours. I'll put 3h. We find rate by dividing distance by the time, which would be 24 divided by 3, and that would give us 8 kilometers per hour. So you have to be very, very, very careful with these, and line by line. Any word problem you see, you look at it line by line. Whenever you see me work out a word problem, my process doesn't change. You'll hear me say line by line. If you tutor with me, you'll hear me line by line, line by line. You'll get sick of hearing me say it. So line by line, you watch me go line by line. So to recap, an aircraft carrier made a trip to Guam and back. I diagrammed that. Point A to Guam and back from wherever it was coming from. The trip there took 3 hours. I labeled 3 hours. All right. And I'll circle this because this is the new information that I found. Here and here. It's the new information. So we had our known parts of the question. 3 hours. Unknown distance. But we had 4 hours coming back. We had a known rate, so we were able to find the distance. Once we found the distance, we could apply it here to find out the rate, which is 8 kilometers per hour. So you have to be very, very careful when you execute these. All right. Is everybody clear on this question? Just type in clear. Okay, I'll take the 2 clears. Clear. I got the 8, but thought that was wrong, so I guess that it needs to be less than 6 due to the time difference. Okay, long as you see how I executed it, that is the proper way. Line by line, diagram, and execute. All right. What I will do is see if see if that helps out. Okay, let's do another one and then we'll move on. Okay, here's the second one for Deborah. Another word problem. A passenger plane made a trip to Las Vegas and back. Las Vegas and back. On the trip there, it flew 432 miles per hour. And I don't know why this thing isn't spacing properly. Because it's spaced on my thing I copied it from. But at any rate, let's move on. And on a return trip, it went 480 miles per hour. All right, on a trip there flew 430, on a return trip 480. How long miles per hour did it take? How long did the trip there take if the return trip took 9 hours? Okay, again, so we want to understand that distance equals rate times time applies here. So we have point A, point B. Let's see here. All right, I'm reading Las Vegas. Doing some gambling. All right. On a trip there, it flew 432 miles per hour. So we have a rate. And on the return trip, it went 480 miles per hour. All right. How long did the trip take there if the return trip took 9 hours? Okay, so at this point, 10 hours. Well, I didn't want you to jump the gun on that, but you did. All right. So we have our rate and we have a time. And rate times time equals distance. So for rapid math, you could look at this as 480 times 9. I don't look at it like that. I look at it as 48 times 9, and then I'll add the 0 later. 72, 27, 36, 43, and then add the 0. So 432, if it took 9 hours back, now we have a distance of 4320. So that's our distance. Now, if we're going to divide, the multiplier has to be 10, because if we take 22, 32, 43, and we multiply by 10 in each one of these cases, we just add a 0, 220, 320, and 430. So the divisor has to be 10 hours, because we have our rate and our distance, and distance equals rate times time. So 432 times 10 equals 4320 miles. All right. So if everybody's clear on that, if I need to recap, just let me know. All right. Or a dividend. I'm sorry, Osvaldo. And basically, like, let's say if I had 8 divided by 4, this is 2. This is called the dividend. The dividend. This is called the divisor. And the answer would be the quotient. All right, so the quotient and the divisor, they can switch places. It doesn't matter. Well, 2 could be here and 4 could be up there. So that would make 2 the divisor and 4 the answer or the quotient. So just a little division terminology. Not as long as you know how to work it out. That's, the major thing. All right. I'm looking at stemwithkieno.com and don't see any questions sent. So you could send questions or you could type them in and I'll execute them. Viper Bravo 77. I think that's how you say it. Viper Bravo 77 or Viper B77. Where's that an 8? No, it's a B. Question for you. Have you taken the SIFT before? Okay, so I think you only get. I think you only get 2 times to take the SIFT. Be very, very careful. Math, and mechanical comprehension are like super big. I try to tell people to guard against. The second one, no. All right. I try to tell people to guard against being very, very careful with that test. Okay. You got a 98 on the ASVAB? Is that what you're saying? All right. At any rate, be very, very careful because the test prep booklets, I caution people in the video because, I was getting a lot of people emailing me or texting me and they're telling me, man, I bought 3 books. None of the mechanical comprehension stuff was on these books because the mechanical comprehension with all the tests, physics, they just went to physics. And what we just solved was 2 physics questions. Physics is just a means of quantifying, the physical world, if bodies do a certain thing, the forces that act upon them, and just kind of, yes, I do have a question for you though, sir. Thanks you for the advice. Okay. Send it to stemwithkieno.com. Let's see. Let's take a look. Now, honestly, the micrometer is something that you would see on the ASVAB, like in the automotive information. You wouldn't see that on the ASTB or the OAR. For the last 10 years, I've been working with people with this test. I've never ever, and this is probably one of those computer generated. You have a lot of these companies, they put out these computer generated tests that are really not representative. You would never see, and I think, Mr. You're taking the ASTB or the OAR. I think you are. If I'm not, correct me. But you're not going to see a micrometer question. You'll see that for automotive information on the ASVAB. Let's see. I actually do a lot of my own work as far as engine work is concerned on my car. I do have 8 different mechanical contracts. Okay. And that's cool that you do a lot of work on your own car, but you may get a couple questions, I guess, as far as, a little bit of electricity would help you if you understand electrical systems. You may see the 4-stroke engine cycle, which is intake, compression, power, exhaust. And they may ask you, okay, well, what happens during this stroke or during this stroke of the 4-stroke engine cycle? But micrometers, in my 10 years of prepping people for the ASTB-E, the ASTB, the old version and the new version. Now, you may have found it on the old version, but not the new one. But what I am going to do is I'm going to do a video on micrometers for my ASVAB people. And when I do that, I will send that question to you, Mr. E. All right, take another stab. Give me another question, sir. Yes, you will have questions on the Pythagorean theorem. I'm glad you even asked that question because, oh my God. First off, you need to familiarize yourself with it's got to be a right angle. And this is everybody. Everybody. There are so many. I haven't talked to people. I know people because I'm in Jersey. And the educational testing service is in Princeton, New Jersey. I know people that work there. And I'll just leave that right there. But I'll just say this. So many questions are based on this triangle. This is called the 3-4-5 triangle. Now, what this means is that if one side is 3 and another side is 4, the hypotenuse is guaranteed to be 5. So, I can frame so many questions based off of this 3-4-5 triangle. And this is killer if you can look at this and you can see other triangles. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is if you could get a question like, all right, this side is 90, right angle, bracket. This side is 90, this side is 120. And they'll say, what side is C, or the hypotenuse? Okay. This I can answer in not even 10 seconds, probably in 5 seconds. Actually, the answer's already floating around in my head. But you have to understand that this is based off of the 3-4-5 triangle. Can anybody type in and tell me why? I'll give you 30 seconds. If anybody can tell me how this triangle is based off of this triangle. And then I'll do another one. You have a port. 2 boats leave a port. One goes east for 600 miles. And the other boat goes north at 800 miles. All right. And then the question will ask, how far are these 2 boats apart? All right. Very good, Deborah. Very good. So you have to be, and I just off the top of my dome, I just made these 2 questions based off the 3-4-5. All right. And then this would be in the form of a word problem. 2 boats leave a port. One goes east 600 miles, the other one goes north 800 miles. Well, if one goes east and the other one goes north, you still have a right triangle. This leaves on a heading of 090, and this leaves on a heading of 0 or 360, which is north. All right, so you will see questions based on the Pythagorean theorem. Now, Is this based on the Pythagorean theorem, the 3, 4, 5 triangle? Yes, it is. Did we use the Pythagorean theorem to solve it? No. We use the 3, 4, 5 correlation to solve it. Now, if we don't see a 3, 4, 5 triangle, then that is the only case in which you will that's the only case when you will actually utilize the Pythagorean theorem. But in a lot of cases, in a lot of cases, you won't have to. Now, I'm not saying all cases, in a lot of cases, but you have to understand when and when not to use it. All right. So let's get a question here. Now, that is a dead giveaway. I don't want to use that one. Now, there's a lost art. Deborah, that is affirmative. Teachers, test makers, they use that 3, 4, 5. I can make a million questions based off of that 3, 4, 5. But that is like killer. When you see a 3, 4, 5, man, you could run through that question so fast. But let me get back to what I was I am trying to find. All right, I'll just make one up. And basically what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to understand, you're going to have a better understanding of square roots. Okay, if I have the square root of 2, this is 1.41. Square root of 3, square root of 4, square root of 5, square root of 6, square root of 7, square root of 8, square root of 9, and the square root of 10. Okay. Now, given all that, what you need to remember, the number 2. What I do is I kind of use things with my square roots. I'll have one kind of base memory aid for me. I think of an airplane, 1.41, or the C-141 Starlifter. I think that's the nickname for it. United States Air Force. Shout out to Deborah. And myself. But all the Air Force people in the house say, ow. Anyways. Now, the C-141, that is the square root of 2, 1.41. Now, we know that the square root of 4 is 2. That's very easy to remember. The square root of 9 is 3. So now what I need to come up with is what we call a common ratio. All right. So what we're going to have is I'm thinking of 1.4, but if I add 0.3, 0.3 is the common ratio, so 1.7. So and it's only up to 4. So to get from the square root of 2 to the square root of 3 is 0.3. And then that joins in with 2. So if you mistakenly use 0.2 and you said no, 1.6, You can't use another 0.2 to get to 2. So you know you're in the right area when you use 0.3 as the common ratio. The common ratio is just what we're adding to get to the next guy. So we have our baseline 1.41. Our next one is is the square root of 4, which is 2, and the square root of 9 is 3. So when I have my 1.41 and my 2, I look at what is the common ratio. So it's 0.3. So 0.3 gets us to, and I'll just say 1.41. If we're off a hundredth, that's like, it's not that big a deal. The 1. Or the 0.01. So 1.4, 1.7, 2. Then the common ratio is 0.2 after that. So from 2, we add 2.2, 2.4, 2.6, 2.8. The 0.2 gets us to 9, which is 0.3, and 10 is 3.2. So the common ratios are 0.3, up to there, and then it goes to 0.2. Now, this is very, very important because you're going to come into situations where you're going to run into problems that, huh? Okay. I'll slow down, Deborah. All right. Just type in what you didn't understand, and I will back up. And I'm glad you said something because I want you to be clear. Nah, I'm clear. Okay. I didn't know what the was about. Okay. So you're clear about the common ratio. The reason why I say that, because in a lot of cases, you're going to come up with answers that have a square root, a root 2, a root 3, a root 4, a root 5. And it is very, very important that you understand what it means in units. Okay. Oh, that was more like, ooh, okay. Ooh, okay, all right. That's what's up. Go blue, go big blue. All right, so now, now that we have our memory aid set up by just saying square root of 2, C141, square root of 4 is 2, square root of 9 is 3, then we base our whole table on that. Because a lot of times what you're going to do is you're going to get questions where you will need to, let me back up. All right. So let's see. I got a right triangle with a 4 and an 8. All right. And so the Pythagorean theorem states that a squared, which we'll call this a, plus b squared equals c squared. Okay, so we're going to define the hypotenuse. Now, we're going to plug in a squared, we're going to plug in b squared, and it equals c squared. Now, we got 64, 16 equals c squared. Then we combine these together, and we're going to get 80. All right. So 80 is equal to c squared. But are we solving for c squared? No, we're not solving for c squared. So the square is going to come off the c and just become c. And this is going to become root 80. Okay. It's going to become root 80. So what if they just give you distances? They don't give you anything with a square root. You're still going to have to be able to define. Now, to guesstimate, we know that the square root of 81 equals 9. So it's going to be somewhere around 9. But in the case where it wasn't that evident, where you had the square root of 80, you're actually going to have to use my method of breaking down square roots, where we look for hot numbers. So square root of 80, I'm looking for factors, 1 and 80. Probably 4 and 20 are the factors that are going to work. Because the square root of 80 is equal to the square root of 4. This is a hot number, 4, and the square root of 20. So this is the square root of 4 times the square root of 20. Now, this is going to break down into the square root of 4 and the square root of 5. So basically what we have mathematically is the square root of 4, we didn't forget about this guy, times the square root of 4, again, times the square root of 5. That's basically what we have. So 2 times 2, because these break down into 2's, is 4. So we're going to have 4 root 5. Now, if I gave you 4 root 5, you probably could not work that out. But if I give you 4 times 2 root 2, or 2.2, sorry, we would have 8.8, or it would round up to 8.9. All right. So our hypotenuse is 8.9 roughly. And we said it was very, very close to 9. But we actually have a numerical, instead of an irrational type number, we actually have a distance. So being able to break down square roots, when we come, and it becomes effective because this is 4 times the square root of 5. That's exactly what that means. We call it 4 root 5. All right, you got caught up. Okay. All right. So 4 root 5. And Viper, this is DVR. So even after we get done, which is pretty soon, we got like 4 minutes to 10. So there's really not a whole heck of a lot we're going to get done in 4 minutes. So when we have 4 root 5, because that is the same answer, 4 root 5. But you're going to have to, be able to work with square roots and understand what they mean. This means 4 times the square root of 5, or 4 times 2.2. And we worked it out over here on the board, and it comes up to 8.8, or we would round it up to a 9. But with numbers, it is a very exact science. All right. So, let's see. No worries. Thanks for all the help so far. All right. Okay, Deborah, just type in the options. Yeah, they're all multiple choice questions. So the thing is what I tell my clients before they go into testing. The answer's always in front of you. Just relax. Okay. Okay. I'll just verbally talk through this one. The question states, a bridge crosses a river that is 1,400 feet wide. One bank of the river holds 1/5 of the bridge, while the other holds 1/10 of it. How long is the bridge? Our answers are 1,700, 1,800, 2,000, and 2,100. All right. So I'll read it again. A bridge crosses a river that is 1,400 feet wide. One bank of the river holds 1/5 of the bridge, while the other holds 1/10 of it. How long is the bridge? All right. All right. This will be the last question for the live stream. But we'll be back. We got our camera with no echo. So I'm going to be excited to come back. So the first part of the question. Our question is telling us that a bridge crosses a river that is 1,400 feet wide. So I would make a bank here. I would make a bank here. And then I would make my little water. Okay. But I would indicate that the dimensions or the width of this river is 1,400 feet. Okay. That is the first statement. A bridge crosses a river that is 1,400 feet wide. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a span of a bridge. Okay. So we have to understand that this part of the bridge is 1,400 feet because it's the span. Now, let's say this is the 1/5 part and this is the 1/10. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take these fractions and I'm going to make them equal, or I'm going to put them on, I'm going to give them the same denominator. So if this is tenths and this is fifths, 2/5 make up, two tenths make up tenths. All right. So if I multiply the numerator and the denominator by 2, this is going to be 2/10. So then I scratch that out. All right. We simplify. So we have 1,400 feet in the middle. 1/10. This part carries 1/10 of the bridge, and this covers 2/10 of the bridge, which was 1/5. But we say 2/10 because 1/5 is the equivalent of 2/10 in fractions. So now, what does that say to tell me? That tells me that 3/10, because we had 2/10 there, we have 1/10 here. 3/10 of this bridge is supported by land. So if 3/10, 3/10 is over land, then that means 7/10 is over water. Are we clear up to that point, folks? If we're not, I'll back up. Okay. So, let me go back and look at the question. Because if I get this wrong, y'all gonna look at me funny. So 3/10 is over land, 7/10 is over water. Or I could say 70% is over water and 30% is over land. Okay. Because 7/10, 3/10, 30%. If we change the fractions to percentages, and I like working with percentages. And I like converting them to decimals. I'll just do whatever I need to do, either fraction, percentage, or decimal, whatever works best. So what this suggests is that we said 3/10 is over, and so that is a combination of 1/10 and 2/10. All right. Now our answers are 1,700, 1,800, and 2,100 feet. I've seen this question before. I'm trying to think about how I made my next move. It will come to me in a second here. All right. So yeah, we said 7/10 is over water. So this 1,400 feet is representative of 0.7 is 1,400 feet. And 1, which is 100% of the bridge, represents X amount of feet. Just making sure I am doing this right, because this is 70% of the bridge. This will be 100% of the bridge. So 1,400 divided by 0.7, 0.71400. Decimal over 1. Boom, bang, boom. So I would guesstimate about 2,000 feet. All right. So now what I need to do, and that is the so now what we have to do is we have to test it out. All right, we have to test it out. If 2,000 feet is truly 100% of the bridge, right, then we have 2,000. And what we need to do, in order to find 10% of anything, we have to bring the decimal in one place to find 10% of anything. So that means that 1/10 is 200 feet. So if this was the 2/10, this would represent 400 feet. And this is 1/10. If this is 1/10, then that would be 200 feet. So we have to ask ourselves, does 400 feet plus 1,400 feet plus 200 feet, does that equal the 2,000 feet that we said it was? And I say yes. Now somebody put 2,100 feet. Okay, it's got to be under 700 feet. 700 to be equal to 3/10. It's got to be under. Okay. Clear. Fiber at 200. Me. It's got to be under 700 to be equal to 3/10 on land. Well, if it was a total of 2,100 feet, if we just said, just for shits and giggles, then bang, 10% would be 210. 3/10 of that bridge would be 3/10. That's a tenth. So 3/10 would be 630. 630 and 1,400 come up to 2,130. And that's not an option. Okay, how did you get to 2,000? I see that you divided to 1,400 by 1. No, I cross-multiplied. This is a ratio. We came to the conclusion that 7/10 or 70% of the bridge was 1,400. 1/10 lies over here, 2/10 lies over here. Now, what I did was I cross-multiplied and then I divided by 0.7. I divided 1,400 by 0.7. Because that's what our cross multiplication and proportions are for. We cross multiply, divide by this number, and our unknown was here at that point. And when we did our division, we put our 0.7 here, our 1,400 was here, but the decimal moved over because we had a decimal over here. We have to move it over one there, and whatever we do there, if we move a decimal over here, we have to move a decimal over here, and that's how we got 14,000. We bring that decimal up into our answer. Can 7 go into 1? No, it can't. Can 7 go into 14? Yes, it can, by 2. And then these are all zeros, so the rest of the zeros are fillers, which tells me in proportion, if 0.7 is 1,400, then one span of that bridge is 2,000 feet. And my math works. Okay, duh. All right. My math works because 2,000, 1/10 of 2,000, we move the decimal over 1 is 200. So if this is 1/10, that equals 200. And if this is 2/10, that equals 400. So we have 400, 1,400 plus 400, which is 1,800. and then we add the other 200, and then we have 2,000. Total span of the bridge. Done. Is everybody clear on that? Just type in clear. But Viper Bravo 77, I want to make sure you're clear. Okay. I think everybody else got it. Okay. Now I got to split. Me and my partners, I don't know if you guys saw my video, if you guys keep up with my video playlist, but what my team has done is we actually yeah, that was a tough one. Actually, what me and my partners, what we have been, or my team, they're not partners, but they're my team. They're kind of like my advisors and stuff. And that happens, Viper. We make wrong guesses, but you have to, the thing is when you make your guess, own it. You have to be able to check it. And if it doesn't survive the test, then it ain't right. You know what I'm saying? It's not right if it doesn't survive the test. And mine survived the test. I showed you guys twice that it survived the test, and then I added everything up. It came to 2,000. So my math was right. And so it's okay. This is where you make mistakes, not on the test. All right. Once you make all the mistakes you want here, but it's best that you clear it up, in the live stream. Or to be honest, I didn't think it was going to be 1,800 or the other value. So I made a quick stab between 2,100 and 2,000. Okay, and that happens. And sometimes, you make a guess and it may work. But sometimes it doesn't. But whatever you choose, be able to prove it. It's like geometry. Proofs. Okay? How do I know 245 angles equal 90 degrees? Because I take 45, I add one, I add another. Where you can buy a session. How do you schedule a session? Okay, Deborah, yeah, that's what I was going to get into. My team and I, we realized, everybody, can't afford the one-on-one tutoring. So the live stream, the hour, we're kind of running into overtime, and that's fine because my people, they understand that. But the live stream's always, the hour live stream is always going to be free. But what we're doing is we're charging for the Google Hangout, the actual live direct one-on-one or group one-on-group. I'm being the one on the group now because, we got a new camera system, teleprompters, all kinds of stuff. And there's some things that we want to do to help, keep this channel alive, keep it relevant. What we're going to be doing is we're actually going to be doing some in-flight videos and stuff like that. And we're actually going to be actually going to an airplane and actually pre-flighting it, a real airplane. And then we're getting and we're going to take off and we're going to talk about, we're going to discuss communications, operational considerations and stuff like that. And if you choose to, I recommend anybody that's going to be a pilot, I recommend that you actually do an orientation flight, minimum 2-3 hours before you go to API for the Navy or IFS, which is your initial flight screening in the United States Air Force. When I say Navy, I also mean Coast Guard, Marine Corps, because they're all naval aviators. We're working on that too as well, Viper. But even still in that rotary wing is totally expensive and everything. And, I'm paying out of cost for a lot of this stuff and, that's okay. I'm going to do it, but it's just going to be a little bit slower and it's fine. It's going to come. I'm going to do it. With me and my partners, we are, pulling our resources together and we're really trying to do some great things. So, we just need some help. And, the more help we get, the faster. So what we came to the conclusion of is that the Google Hangout, we're going to start just billing for. You can go to the website stemwithkieno.com and on the payment options. Now, unfortunately tonight the class is full. It's scheduled for 10:30 to 11:30. It's full. So the thing is if you are interested, like in the future, in the Google Hangout, then you would have to go to stemwithkieno.com, go to the payment option screen, and just pay the. There's an online ticket fee. It's like $20, and then you get the one-on-one interaction with me. But the hour live stream's always going to be free. Because, look, everybody, some people are unemployed. I get that. You know what I'm saying? So, and I actually fought for that. My partner's was like, nah, man, they don't even like to live stream. Seriously, they don't. One of them's a woman. I'm sorry, Deborah. But one of them, she's like, look, no, nothing free. But I'm like, we gotta give our customer base something. Deborah, if you contact me on Skype at kieno.thomas, I just put it there on Skype. It's best if you have Skype because all your progress is recorded on Skype. Okay, I still do the one-on-one tutoring, but there's a lot of things that we want to do. There's a lot of videos in flight, communications videos, how to talk to the tower and things like that. Now, I know all of you guys don't want to be pilots, but I'm a pilot, and that's what I want to do for our Air Force pilots and our naval aviators. I want to have a channel that they can come to where they can see really, really good content. And, so actually getting in the plane and doing it, that's what's going to make it happen. And so with, on that movie, the right stuff, he was like, oh, it takes bucks to make Buck Rogers. It takes bucks, so, I'm still pulling my team. We're pulling in our resources. Yeah, I mean, I could talk a little bit, I got time because the Google Hangout doesn't start till 10:30. But, if honestly, the way that I see the economy going and all that and everything, if I had to do it all over again, would I have gone the turbine route? I don't think so. That's cool. R22. Dude, stick with the rotary. I'm telling you. I know a guy that he works 3 or 4 days a week, and his actual working is probably 4 hours. And this guy makes over 200 grand a year. Rotary wing and helicopters. Ex-military. So I have a Skype, then message you on Skype. Schedule time, you then pay. No, we'll talk on Skype because I need to kind of do like a little assessment to see where you are one-on-one. Yeah, Viper. That was for Deborah, the previous message. But yeah, Viper, this guy's making a killing. And it's not just him. I see this with a lot of rotary wing pilots. It is a skill that is it's very, very expensive if you go to civilian route. And if you come from the military, yep, Osvaldo, you're exactly right. Border Patrol will be kissing your ass to come there. Long as you got a good flying record. I mean, they will be like, look, whatever you want, they will be kissing your ass. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to curse. I try to keep it as professional as possible, but I'm just keeping it real, man. Like, yo, rotary wing, there's tons of fixed wing pilots, tons. But rotary wing, there's not a lot. And I'm telling you, the companies that hire them, they don't want them going anywhere. I mean, if you flew like, okay, state police, oh man, they want rotary wing pilots. Everybody wants rotary wing pilots. So I got to say, at the end of the day, and me, I'm older. I don't want to be flying all over the place. Helicopters, they don't go that far. They just kind of, you might do some long distance trips or maybe like, I don't know, 2 hours somewhere, 2 hours back, but you ain't going to be 10, 12 miles different time zones away. Not in a helicopter. You'll make great money. Home time. I can't express that enough. I need to do a video on home time because, because don't just do military test prep, but I also do civilian test prep. And the importance of home time, dude, like you're gone, like, you go away on a 3-day trip, a 2-day trip or whatever. You're going to have to focus your time on your loved ones. Can't hang out with the boys if you have a family. If you're single, you could do whatever you want. And those are both, but I'm just saying, whatever you do in Rotary Wing, man, I'm telling you, coming from the military, you're going to have a whole lot of companies kissing your butt. Now, in the military, you're not going to get that home time like you would like. You might be in deployment, you might be away training, but coming back to the civilian world, when you coming back to the civilian world, when you transition back in the civilian world, man, dude, you will have a job for life. And I'm telling you, Rotary Wing is like the next thing, man. And I'm telling you, the high pay, better home time, better family life. It's you know, it's better, dude. It's and I'm in the aviation community. I'm always like doing seminars. People, they want me to come and do speaking engagements and stuff like that, to prepare them. But dude, Rotary Wing, man, those guys are making a killing. Okay. And it's not going to turn around. Okay. It's actually probably going to get better because, Kieno, how about the UAV program? Is it still? Yeah. Unmanned aerial vehicle. I want to call them the combat system operators or something like that. I'll do a video on that too as well. Cause I got my new camera now. I'm like, oh man, I'm like a little kid now. I'm ready to like pop out videos like every day. But, you'll have a much better home life. In the civilian world, if you're fixed wing, I say go FedEx. If you don't want to start your own business, just, go FedEx or something like that. Me, I don't want to work for anybody. With my plan, eventually I'll transition away from my company and I'll be doing my own thing and, hiring a couple people and stuff and keeping the tight-knit group, because this is a very special niche. And a lot of people, they just don't do what I do. You can find a math tutor. You can find a mechanical engineering tutor. You could find aviation tutor. But it's very rare that you'll find all three in one package. And we do the military, whether you want to do the military or the civilian route. And also, in addition, the career consulting. You guys are navigating through waters that you have no idea. You just, oh yeah, I want to be a pilot, but you really don't have any idea of what it entails, the life, what you need to do to keep a stable family life. Like I say, you can't be, if you're married, man, you can't be going to hang out with the fellas. That time actually belongs to your family because you've been away. Your wife or your husband, be it male or female pilots, they feel like, oh man, okay, well, yeah, you're making money, but you're not really putting any time in with the family. And, I don't know if you're someone, but I need to get in touch with a few. Dude, all you need to do is you need to just go to a local, find an airport where they have a guard unit. The guard units are really, really cool. If you go talk to the recruiter there at the guard unit, where there's a helicopter unit and stuff, there's going to be pilots there. Sometimes you have a lot of air guard units on civilian bases, and you drive around, there's a recruiter there, you go talk to them, there's going to be pilots there. I don't know of any pilot, military pilot or civilian pilot, unless they're like really, really busy or just like an asshole, that, a person that has no knowledge about aviation, and they come to you and they're like, dude, man, I wanna fly that. That's analogous. Analogous, is that the right word? The analogy is like a little kid looking at a cowboy or something like that, or a fireman or something. I want to do that. That fireman is going to talk to that kid. Okay, well, you need to, get through with school and Fort Dix. Okay. Well, Fort Dix, I'm in Jersey, and Fort Dix is not. Um, you would be better off going to Trenton Mercer Airport. I was a flight instructor there for a while. I taught for Mercer County Community College. And they have an aviation program. But on one side of Trenton Mercer Airport, you have Frontier Airlines. If you go around the loop, and let me just see, you got Bear Tavern Road here. You also have an exit for I-95. But if you look at the exit for Trenton Mercer Airport, you take the Bear Tavern Road exit, and then you go into the airport. You're going to have the commercial airline, Frontier Airlines. If you drive around or just ask where Ronson Aviation is, Ronson Aviation. I know that airport like the back of my hand. I taught for the college I taught there for a long time. Not a long time, but like a couple years. But on the Ronson Aviation side, it kind of brackets, it does some stuff, but everybody knows where the guard unit is. The guard unit, Ronson Aviation, will take you out to this access road, and you keep coming around. The guard unit is there on like the northeastern side of the airport, because runway 6 is here, right? And when you take off, you can see the helicopters and the hangars here. If you go there and ask for a recruiter, dude, unless the pilot is an asshole, or down the road is a little coffee shop. It's a coffee shop. They make sandwiches and stuff like that. Pilots go there to eat. There's also a pizza place. I can't remember, but it's like a little straight. There's a credit union in there, so you see a big sign for credit union. That's where all the pilots we go to eat. We go there, we grab food, but we would go there, grab food and stuff like that. So all around in this area, you'll see somebody in a monkey suit or a flight suit. Ronson, no B on there, Viper. Ronson Aviation. And if you ask, where's the guard unit? They will tell you. I know that airport like the back of my hand. I've probably flown out of that airport maybe like a couple thousand hours out of that airport. And I've actually done some speaking engagements there as well. Not at the guard unit, but for the Civil Air Patrol and other organizations and stuff like that. So I have 3 minutes to get to my Google Hangout. I appreciate you guys. Please hit the thumbs up button if you guys like what you saw tonight. I thought that this was really good, mostly because the camera worked and there was no repeat. We hung up a little bit, but I think that was minimal. But ultimately, I am satisfied with this new system, and I hope you guys, and those actually, I'll use up these next 3 minutes. Those pilots will actually, pilots know all the bullshit that you got to go through in order to get to where they are. And the more pilots you know, the more perspectives you can get. Some people will be like, oh, okay, I did this. I went this route. I went that route. You can look at different routes. But the one thing you are going to have to take is the SIFT. You're going to have to take the SIFT. There's no getting around that. But you're going to have different routes to get into where you need to be. All right. So, yeah, I got 2 minutes to my Google Hangout. I really, really appreciate you guys coming out. Deborah, I expect to get a contact request from you on Skype. Are you guys going to the Hangout? Now, nobody in here, Osvaldo, nobody's here is in the Hangout, because here's the thing: that session is full, and I am going to speak with Deborah briefly, and we're going to discuss what she needs and stuff like that. And then I'm going to go right to the hangout. I'm actually going to, so I hope to see you guys next week at the live stream. If you guys want to participate in the Google Hangout next week, I suggest that you get your online tickets ahead of time. All right. So this way there won't be any issues. You need a Gmail account. You need a Gmail account. If you don't have a Gmail account, then you're going to have to wind up downloading some stuff. It takes a long time. Just get a Gmail account, and then you can come in on your Gmail account. It's free to set up a Gmail account, even if that's all you use it for. But the interaction is awesome. It's a lot better than this because this is only one-sided talking. You guys got to type. And I can also put up diagrams and charts and stuff like that in a Google Hangout and stuff. So, all right. Deborah, are you going to give me a shout now on the on Skype? Just let me know. If not, we could talk in the morning. But, it's up to you. I just wanted to just kind of get a little connection. Okay, not yet. Okay. I have to download it. Okay. So why don't you give me a shout in the morning? And actually, I'm normally working Saturday and Sunday. I happen to be off this week because I have to attend a family gathering. And so I decided to take Sunday off. So anybody that needs tutoring, Sunday I will be available. Normally I am not, but I will be available. So, again, 10:31. I'm jumping to my Google Hangout, and then just if you're interested next week in coming to the Hangout, then we got to get these advanced online ticket purchases done, so we get that room filled and make sure that you guys get better attention if you need it. What else did I want to say? So yeah, see you guys at the next Hangout. And I talk to you soon. This is Kieno Thomas. I got to look in it. I got so many screens. Teleprompter list. This is Kieno Thomas with STEMwithKieno.com. I am glad that the camera system is functioning properly. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share on your social media networks. Have a great day or evening. Bye-bye.